Hi guys, I'm Tamiri Mitchell, and this is my trach care and suction video or check off. So we have our patient. The straw is going to simulate as my trach because we can receive one in our Laerdal boxes. Next we'll have our suction, and as well as my kids been open, so. And then we have our trach care kit. So starting this video off, we'll do suction and we'll move on to trach care. So have our patient. We've already done aided. Next thing we'll do is we'll verify the orders and provide privacy for our patient. After that, what we'll do is explain the rationale for why we're suctioning to our patient, and as well as getting verbal consent. So my patient will say, yes, it's okay to do it. Sure, good. And then we'll ask if they have any questions, which he does not. So next what we'll do is raise the bed to our hips and place the patient in semi-false position, which I've simulated with just propping my box on a pillow at a 45-degree angle. So this is semi-false position. Next thing we'll do is take our stethoscope, and we'll also take our patient's lungs. And then what I'll do is go ahead and increase my supplemental oxygen flow with following my facility's hyperoxygenation protocol. After that, what I'll do is give myself hand hygiene, and then I will put on a proper PPE, which would be a mask and eyewear in this situation. Next, what we'll do is we'll move on to opening our suction kit, which I've showed you, and we will pour some sterile saline solution in a sterile basin. With the suctioning kits, what they do is provide you with like a little paper or cardboard box, and it has the plastic, so you just can pour your sterile solution in there. So we'll pretend I pour my sterile solution in there. We'll use that later. Next thing we'll do is don our sterile gloves. So we have our sterile gloves. I'll put it over here so you guys can see me open it, considering it's already been open because we've already practiced in class with them. So we'll put on our PPE. I realize you guys can't even see. There we go. All right. Have our sterile gloves on. All right, we are sterile. We're going to discard that. All right. So now that we have our sterile gloves on, the next thing I'll do is coil the suction catheter in my dominant hand. So I'll take the suction catheter and coil it up. And what I'll do is leave a little bit, see, that way I can be able to control it. And with my non-dominant hand, what I'm going to do is turn on and adjust my oxygen flow from more like 100 to 120 for an adult, considering my patient is an adult. So next thing what we'll do is, another thing is I'll take my non-dominant hand. Once that oxygen is on, I'll connect the tubing to the catheter. So we'll just simulate, and it'll be right here. And then next we're ready to go ahead and dip our tip of our catheter in the basin that we poured that sterile solution in. That way we're flushing our catheter as well as moistening it. So I'm dipping it in. All right, and now I'm going to remove my patient's trach mask with my non-dominant hand. And then next what we're going to go ahead and do is, as we move with the mask with our non-dominant hand, we're going to use our dominant hand to insert the catheter until we feel any resistance or if the patient coughs. So I'm holding like this so I can control it. And next thing you do is just kind of inch it in like an inchworm. And don't mind me. You would keep inching it in. Oh, I found it. Okay, I thought I was going to have to like force it in because I'm using a straw and not an actual trach. But you would keep it, and then, okay, let's just say, I'm ended so my trach isn't going to fit all the way in my straw, so we're just going to act like it did. And next thing we do, we would assume that we met resistance, which in this case we really are. So after we have met resistance, we're going to withdraw a 1/2 inch, and then we would suction intermittently. And then when we suction intermittently, do not do any suction pass longer than 10 to 15 seconds. So with suction intermittently, you literally take it and you would cover this hole that's on the end of this applicator. So you would cover it, let go, cover it, let go, cover it, let go, cover it, let go. All right, after we suction, next thing we'll do is go ahead and remove it. And while we're removing the catheter, we will rotate it gently as we're removing it. I hope I can get out without taking the straw out. All right, now that we have our catheter out, we will go ahead and rinse the catheter by suctioning up some more of that sterile solution. And then after that, if you were to be instructed to suction again, you would just repeat the steps from when we first started, when we removed that trach mask. And then you would suction for however many needs you need. But for time purposes, I just did that once, so we're good. All right, so next thing we'll do after we've gotten repeated our steps for how many times. So let's say we had a suction twice, we did it twice. We would go ahead after we're done is disconnect the suction catheter from the tubing, which would have been right here. So we would disconnect it, and then we would discard our catheter and all the supplies. So we throw away that, and then we remove our gloves, hand hygiene, and we'd be good. So in this case, next thing what we'll be doing in our video is trach care. So what we'll be doing is removing, we would just pretend I don't have these on, hand hygiene, remove the stoma dressing and assess coca, which will be the color, the odor. If they had any drainage, we would assess the consistency and the amount, but my patient does not have any drainage, so I can't assess the consistency or the amount. And then we were just pretending it was dressing on here. I took it off, threw it away. All right. So next thing I would do is remove the suction equipment and my gloves and hygiene, perform hand hygiene, which we've already done. And next thing we'll do is go ahead and open our trach care kit. So this is the trach care kit. All right. So once it's open, I will put on the sterile gloves that was provided in this kit. I already have sterile gloves on. We'll just pretend that I put them on. That's why I wanted to make sure you guys see me so you confirm that I knew how to put on sterile gloves. Okay. So, but in this case, we would only have the sterile glove on the dominant hand. So I am going to go ahead and take this off. That way it just doesn't throw you guys off. All right. So in this case, we only put the sterile glove on with the dominant hand. And I am right-handed, so it's on my right hand. All right. So next thing we'll do is go ahead and pre-moisten our gauze and as well as our cotton tip applicators for our cleaning. And this is just to put under our patient. And it's not going to stay, so I didn't bother, but we would like put it over them. That way they wouldn't get like wet or anything from cleaning. I'll try to see if it stays. Okay, that's good. It's going to get. So, all right, we've pre-moistened our gauze. And then our cotton tip applicators. So we'll just pretend I pour some in there and we've pre-moistened them. And so they're ready for cleaning when we're ready to go ahead and clean. All right, and next thing we'll do is I'll insert a new cannula following the direction of curvature. And then I'll secure it by turning it into a lock position. So basically what we would do is this would be gone and then we would just put a new one in. So that's what we just simulated. So after we have our new cannula in and it's already we secured and we locked it, next thing we do is clean the outer cannula and trach with the Q-tip or cotton tip applicator in a circular motion. And we would start from the stoma side and then move outward. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Q-tip. And we start from the stoma and move outward. And we'll move outward like at least 2 inches outward. In a circular motion. Kind of like that. And then we would discard this. Alright. And next thing we do is we would, I could stabilize the trach with my non-dominant hand. So I would just have a glove on this. I don't know. Here, I'll put it on just so you guys can see. Alright, so I would stabilize my trach with my non-dominant hand. And once I've stabilized it, I would place the fenestrated dressing underneath the outer cannula. So what that is this guy. It would be up, and it'd be like that. All right, and then next thing we'll do after we have that secured is we would go ahead and do our trach ties. Now with the trach ties, I don't have anything to tie onto, so I'm just going to verbalize it for you guys. So I would replace the trach ties on each side one at a time, and use square knots to secure them. And when doing this, do not take off the old ties until new ties are on. Once you have both sides of new ties on, you can go ahead and take those old ties off. And then after you have the ties on and the trach is stabilized, you'll be done. So I'm just going to put this stuff back in my thing. So this will be going away, and then our patient would just have this with the ties, and it'd be secure, and then our trach is suction and as well as clean. So we will be done. So the next thing to do is take off our gloves, do hand hygiene, and raise the side rail to the bed. We'll make sure the bed is in low position. It is locked. The call light is in reach. We'll perform hand hygiene again, and we'll just thank our patient. And I thank you guys for watching.